A scorching Saturday afternoon here at the Temple of Speed for Race 2, Round 3, the Italian F4 Championship, presented by the Automobile Club of Italy, together with WSK Promotion. It's a record-breaking weekend, yes, 49 drivers from almost 30 countries around the world here at one of the most famous race circuits on Earth to race in the world's most competitive junior racing series. We already had the first race this morning. Lucas Samalisto taking the victory for the US racing team. It is his teammate Ed Robinson, the Brit from Mallorca in Spain, who took pole position at Vallelunga in Rome for round 2. And yesterday evening, 24 hours ago, almost to the minute, also qualified fastest with a 1:52.080 to take pole position for round 3. His second pole in the Italian Championship to put him in contention for this year's championship. Nice to have your company as you join us at the historic Monza circuit, north of the Italian fashion capital, the city of Milan, the home of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. The circuit, which was built back in 1922, ferociously fast, and there is history abounding all around this 5.7-kilometre circuit. 49 drivers, we've capped the track capacity at 36 for this weekend. So we have heat races. It was C versus D this morning. This is qualifying race A versus B. Over 25 minutes plus 1 lap. Another race tomorrow morning, and then the final 36 out of 49 to race tomorrow afternoon. Well, the talking point this weekend has been the temperature. It is almost 37 degrees Celsius. It is baking hot, incredibly humid in the north of Italy. And the track temperature, it's well over 50 degrees Celsius, 52 degrees Celsius. In fact, it really is testing the new compound Pirelli DMA tyre, which was introduced at the start of 2025. The Pirelli race engineers, tyre engineers, telling us or suggesting that the correct tyre pressure should be around 1.4 bar pressure. We'll get back to that in a moment as Evan Michelini is speaking with Laura Cola.
It's possible for you to climb through the field by using the slipstream on a very fast track like Monza. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. Monza is a very fast track where the slipstream is fundamental. We're gonna have to do a comeback, because the quality didn't go our way. So we're gonna use the slipstream to get up on the field.
Thank you.
The Italian-born Costa Rican, born in Genova, not too far from here in fact, but growing up in Central America, Costa Rica. Evan Michelini starting back on the 14th row of the grid for the Antonelli Motorsport team, who had not the rain. Federico Diaz is speaking with Laura.
Hi Federico, you'll be starting from the back, but Monza offers plenty of opportunity to recover position. So what's your strategy for the race?
My strategy is get to the final of the race, gain positions, and stay in the track.
Thank you.
Federico Diaz, the Argentina, the team from Argentina, Alpha 54, starting way back on the 14th row of the grid. It will be a tough ask for the Argentine, his teammate, Ignacio Diaz, just 2 rows behind with Fabrizio Focazza. Do Brasil in between the two Argentines. The South Americans lock out almost the last few rows of the grid, including Raffaele Ferreira, who's speaking with Laura.
Raffaele, starting from the back, you have to pay particular attention to traffic and to do a good start.
Yeah, not the best qualified yesterday. It's really important to get the toe here, but you're trying start from the end and try to have a good racecraft.
Thank you.
Raffaele Ferreira, one of 3 girls racing in the F1 Academy Series, along with Peyton Westcott and Emma Felbermeyer, 6 drivers racing for the women's trophy. Let's firstly take a look at the highlights of race 1, which took place here this morning. The US racing drivers, 1, 2, 3, Noah Killian, Lucas Samalisto, and Alexander Savinkov. It was a clean start. It was a fabulous start. In fact, clean racing down into the notorious first corner here at Monza. Alexander Bondarev trying to attack the US racing drivers, as were both the Mercedes AMG juniors Enzo Consani and Kenzo Craigie, Luba Roykov off into the Rocha chicane as Christian Costoya went into the gravel to avoid. Savinkov holding off as Luba Roykov retired, as did the Australian debutant George Proudfoot-Nowla. On the restart, Lucas Samolisto was superb. They went three wide, the US Racing Trio. 1, 2, 3 at almost 250 kilometres an hour here at Monza. Kenzo Craigie fighting his way through. Alexander Ruta into the wall, just 2 laps from the checkered flag. It was a 1-lap sprint. It was a brilliant restart. It would be the Finn who took the win. Lucas Samolisto racing on by as carnage ensued behind. Samolisto wins and is surely now a contender for the 2026 Italian F4 Championship. Took the victory for the US Racing team. The final day of springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. You can see the shadows starting to get a little larger here and give some relief from the sunshine, which has absolutely pounded here this afternoon. We take a look at the grid. Ed Robinson on pole, Noah Kilian, his US Racing teammate out of Grid 2, DCC P3. And Cosmin Christopher is also third in the series. Andy Consani, the RSGP driver out of Grid 4. Head of Ludovico Il Siciliano Busso, Alexander Bondarev back after ending in the wall on the final lap this morning. Florentin Hattemar for Trident Motorsport, the Swiss driver, and Kenzo Craigie, KC out of 8. That was a good qualifying performance yesterday from Florentin. Ian Kralik, the third generation racer. Alp Aksoy, who is just 6 points off the championship lead, finishing 4th this morning. Knut Nielsen and Augustus Toniolo. Roman Kamyab, his second race in the series. Kingsley Zheng. David Walter, who was fighting for the podium this morning but finished in the wall on the last lap. O menino do Brasil, Becco Bernoldi, head of the German Simon Reckenmacher. Alexander Chartier back after injury. Badr Al-Salati, he's one driver who's not complaining about the heat. The Qatari starting ahead of Emma Felbermeyer. Roland Kuklane, Christian Costoya, Levi Ahn, who had a great race this morning. Jacopo Martinezzi out of Grid 24. Emily Cotti, the British New Zealander. Tamar Genda, the Hungarian. Evan Michelini, who we heard from just a moment ago. The Argentine, Federico Diaz for the Alpha 54 team. Rafaela Ferreira, Fabrizio Fogazza, a menina and O menino do Brasil, George Proudfoot-Nowla from Orange, New South Wales, Australia, and Ignacio Diaz starting ahead of another boy from Brazil. It's Pedro. Lima is back on Grid 33. Still just a moment away from the start here. The second of 4 races here this weekend. The third of 7 rounds for 2026. Now the 1 minute board goes up, so the 1.4 litre Alto Technica tuned engines can fire into life. And we're just moments away from the start. Nice to have your company wherever you're joining us live around the world at the Temple of Speed. This is l'Autodromo di Monza, about 20 kilometres north of the industrial capital of Italy. Monza, you can see to the right of your screen behind the course medical car. That is the old banking, which still thankfully does exist as the 30-second board goes up. It was almost demolished in the 1990s. There is so much history at this circuit. You can see just to the right of your screen, it is still there. And I can tell you, it is the best bike velodrome on earth. It still exists. Its condition, it is unraceable. But there is so much history, and it is a public park here at Monza. On non-race weekends, the public more than welcome to wander around this beautiful circuit if there's nothing on track, which there certainly is this weekend. This is an Acci racing weekend together with the Italian GT3 Championship, which has more than 60 cars on circuit. Formula Regional European Championship as well. The TCR Italian Championship. As the cars go down through the first chicane here, the notorious first chicane The drivers did a commendable performance, or put on they drove well this morning. It was a commendable effort from the youngest drivers here who made their way down through turn one safely, cleanly this morning. Unlike the recent GT World Challenge a few weeks ago, where hundreds, if not millions of euros, pounds or dollars were spent in just a few seconds in the first corner. A clean start this morning. Let's hope for the same here this afternoon. It is the last day of springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. Tomorrow morning, it is the first day of summertime, and I can tell you that is actually very, very appropriate. We are expecting 38 degrees Celsius tomorrow, a baking hot day on the first day of summer 2026 in the Northern Hemisphere. Robinson, the Brit from Mallorca in Spain, for the team from Germany here in the north of Italy, will start from pole position. Noah Kilian, his Australian-born USA Chicago-raised teammate. Noah, who led for much of the race this morning, qualified fastest in his group yesterday. So Ed is in car 9, just behind. That's Noah. And we go back to David Cosma-Christopher, 98 from Bucharest in Romania, the first of the Prema Racing drivers. Right behind is Andy Consani from the south of France for the RSGP team. Good qualifying performance yesterday for Il Siciliano. Ludovico Busso starts out at grid 5, and Bondarev, one of the pre-season favourites, his second year in the series. The Williams F1 Academy junior driver in the wall on the final lap this morning, starts grid 6. Just ahead of that driver, Kenzo Craigie, the French-Jamaican Brit in car 34, also for RSGP. And right behind him is Alp Aksoy, who up until this morning was the championship leader. Watch for a great race from car 41, Nud Nielsen for the Real Racing team, the Dane for the Romanian-Italian team of Constantin Reliano. Nud Nielsen, good qualifying performance yesterday, 7th in his group in this 49-car field. The Real Racing team, they have got a quick car. They are a class team. Watch their Danish driver from grid 11, just alongside the boy from Brazil, the first of which, it's Augustus Toniolo. We wait for Diaz and Pedro Lima to form up at the back of the grid, which they do now. The sun will soon set here at Monza. Race 2, round 3, the Italian F4 Championship, presented by the Automobile Club of Italy together with WSK Promotion. Robinson on pole position. Noah to the left of your screen out of grid 2. The green flag flies at the back of the grid. The 5 red lights. Here's Saturday afternoon at the Temple of Speed. We race. Consani stalls. Indy goes nowhere. Now gets away. Thankfully, he's avoided by the rest of the pack. And his hopes of a good race this afternoon have evaporated instantly off the line. Cosma-Christopher around the outside. Car 98 goes through in position 3 and turned around to his teammate. Facing the wrong way, it's Roman Kamyab. Roman Kamyab was helped around down into turn 1. Robinson, Kilian. It's the US Racing drivers 1-2 once again here at Monza. Roman Kamyab was turned around, now gets going. Does the Brit from the back of the pack in car 4, his second race in the series. He has got an almighty task on his hands this afternoon if he's to get anything out of race 2 here today. Down through the Roger chicane, it is almost like a WRX Joker lap, as the drivers simply decide it is easier to go straight ahead, and why not where there is no sand. It is an incentive almost to go down the inside and argue about it later. They go through Lesmo 1 and 2 with Robinson, Kilian, Cosma-Christopher, Bondarev, Busso, the Sicilian in P5. As we see one of the Mafia Racing drivers going off the road and getting back on track down into Lesmo 2. Robinson, Kilian. And without the front wing going straight ahead, oh, that was close. That was so close. For one of the Prema Racing drivers, it looked to be Kingsley Zhang, who has just rejoined. There is an Alpha 54 car without a front wing at the back of the pack as Noah locks up in second place. This is a good start from David Cosman-Christopher. He will get the slipstream from both Robertson and Killian as we come across the line for the first time. Ed, position 1. In qualifying, top speed 248 kilometres an hour. And with the slipstream, Cosman-Christopher will nearly reach that at the end of the first lap. The racing Romanian charges on by into position 2 down the inside. And the US Racing drivers wheel to wheel. Knud Nielsen also goes straight ahead, does the Dane. He was up in a position 8. A storming start, gets back on track after shortcutting the chicane. He's not the first one to do it. As we see Walter down into pit lane. The Maffei Racing team, the Swiss-Ethiopian team, go to work. David Walter, who took 2 fabulous podiums at Vallelunga, is down in 33rd and last place. He'll be praying for the safety car to come out onto the circuit. But thus far, relatively speaking, we've got a clean start. Killian has got the race lead from Robinson, Cosman-Christopher, Bondarev and Boussol. DCC P3 from Alexander. Watch Consani to the left of your screen for RSGP. Gets off the line, the car stalls. Goes nowhere, fortunate to be avoided by Kenzo Craigie and the rest of the pack. Andy Consani has crossed the line at the end of the first lap, down in 28th position. It was a good start for Knud Nielsen going on through, with Robinson and Killian taking the lead. Roman Kamiab turned around. He was helped down into turn 1, has rejoined, but down in 32nd and last place. So Noah now with the race lead. He led for much of the race this morning. Car 10 is Alp Aksoy. The Turk, who's the top rookie, but he's aiming to win the championship outright. Car 10 for the Prema Racing team ahead of Hatama, who's driving superbly. For the Trident Motorsport team, Killian with the race lead from Cosman-Christopher, Robinson, Bondarev, Bulso, Aksoy, Hatamak, Ian Kraling ahead of Kenzo Craigie, Toniolo, Knud Nielsen still there for the Real Racing team in P11. Side by side, Bondarev on the inside, it becomes the outside, as the drivers do respect the track limits down into turn 1 through La Curva Grande, which literally translates to the big corner. And we see car 9, the pole sitter, the fastest qualifier. Ed Robinson now under attack from both Bondarev and Boussol. Aksoy, P6. Another fantastic race here this afternoon. Alp up the inside and going straight ahead does Bondarev. Robinson will take the place back down into Lesmo 1, the far part of the circuit. Watch out just behind. Race winner, he was the championship leader after the first round at Misano. The driver from Istanbul. Car 10 in P5 ahead of Bulsol, Hatama, Kraling, the 3rd generation racer. Ahead of Kenzo Craigie and Augustus Toniolo in P10. Stopped at the side of the circuit for the Jensen Motorsport team. Just couldn't quite pick up. It's Levian, in fact. It was Levian in car 21. That's a real disappointment. Was actually in a points-paying position. Stopped on the side of the circuit. It's a local yellow only for the moment. Down in turn 6, we stay green. Killian from Cosman-Christopher. Robinson, Mr. Red from Aksoy, who's now in P4. Bondarev and the Sicilian Ludovico Busso. So we come out of the Michele Alboreto Parabolica to start lap 4. Killian under attack. The gap back is just 0.4 of a second to David Cosman-Christopher. Took pole position, did he last year in his rookie season at Vallelunga in the rain. That was a classy pole. It's his 2nd year in the series, David Cosman-Christopher, and he's running 2nd as this battle rages on. Andy Consani, after stalling off the line, charging back through the field. He's now up in a P24 behind Rafa Ferreira. A menina do Brasil, Pedro Lima, o menino. And then Evan Michelini, Kuklane in the final position inside the top 20, just behind the British Kiwi Emily Cotti. Into Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. So Killian with a lead, only just of 0.4 seconds. Down into the Ascari chicane. This is a creditable performance from these young drivers after we've had, well, let's be honest, some carnage-strewn races in previous years. No safety car intervention thus far as Noah Killian down into the parabolic at the gap, back to Cosman Christopher, Robinson, Bondarev, Bulsol, Aksoy, Krayling goes on through. There's Nud Nielsen, Hatama, Kenzo Craigie, Bernaldi, Toniolo, head of Simon Reckenmacher, Emma Felbermeyer and Bader Al-Salati. One driver, he's from Qatar. He's not suffering in the heat here this afternoon. The final points paying position in position 15 ahead of Kingsley Zhang. Noah Killian doing a superb job. The reigning Australian Formula 4 champion, taking that title 12 months ago for the AGI Sport team of Adam Gotch, based out of Eastern Creek, Sydney Motorsport Park. They had 17 cars on the grid for their first round. As the series down under continues to go from strength to strength, Noah Killian, his second year racing in Formula 4, he's first in the Italian series, and he leads at one of the most famous race circuits in the world, just from David Cosman, Christopher, Robinson, Bondarev, Bulsol, Aksoy, Krayling. This is Nud Nielsen, the young Dane for the Romanian team. They do have a quick car, in fact, at this circuit last year. They actually ran, in fact, 2024, they actually ran in a podium position with Luca Vistoriano running in the top 3 at Monza. Just the single car effort. They do have 2 cars, 3 in fact. They do have a quick team, a professional team based at Desenzano in the north of Italy, and a quick driver as well. He's the second rookie at the moment. P8 is Nud Nielsen. The Dane goes through ahead of Florentin Hattemer, Kenzo Craigie, Bernaldi, Toniolo, Zhang, Emma Felbermeyer and Christian Kostoya in position 15. Andy Consani, after stalling on the grid, has moved his way up into position 21 as Nielsen tries the outside, trying to take Ian Krayling, runs out of road. Almost puts it into the gravel, nicely held by the Dane, and gets the slipstream. Behind the 7th place German, Ian Krayling tries to break the toe, almost lost nothing out of that, did Nud Nielsen. Right behind, here comes Florentin Hattemer as well, the Swiss driver for the Trident Motorsport team. Well inside the top 10, trying to chase down the former championship leader, Alp Aksoy, in car 10 for the Prema Racing team. There's Alp, he's behind the Sicilian Ludovico Busso, but it's the Australian from the Romanian, and the Brit, the pole sitter, Robinson behind Killian, and David Cosman Christopher. Noah goes defensive, David second. Dave Robinson, that's his father watching on nervously from pit lane. As Ed tries to make the move on David. Oh, into the wall, that's a big hit for Pedro Lima. The Brazilian is out, the front right of the car has been written off. Pedro Lima. We'll try and bring you a replay of what's happened there. Down into turn 1, into the grass and smash. The safety car comes out onto the circuit. Pedro Lima into the grass, into the wall, and the safety car is out. Halfway through the second of 4 races here this weekend, Pedro Lima decelerating from around 246 kilometers an hour here at Monza into the wall. In fact, first he was into the grass. And Pedro Lima is out. David Walter, you just saw, was given a drive-through penalty. Thankfully for the Dane, as Pedro steps out of the car. under safety car conditions. David is down in P31 after pitching for a new front wing. Will lose very little. That was a big hit for Pedro Lima. Fortunately, the Brazilian is okay, but his day is done. Lima is out. So this gives the opportunity for David Walter to serve that penalty under safety car conditions. We'll check the order for you as they close up under brakes down into turn 1. In the background, thankfully not coming together. Rafaela Ferreira, head of George Proudfoot Nalda. Genda Diaz. Roman Kamiab, who was turned around in the first corner. Ignacio Diaz, Forgarza. And the final runner, David Walter, who's just come into pit lane now. Front wing on the middle of the circuit. That was of Fabrizio Forgarza. This is his countryman, Pedro Lima. Fernando Style pulls up a deck chair. Nothing more to do than watch the final part of this second race here this weekend. Noah Kilian is the race leader. David Walter has just left pit lane. Down in 31st position, he will have time to catch up to the back of the pack and try and salvage something out of this afternoon. He needs it, in fact. Fabrizio Forgarza also has just left pit lane with a new front wing. As you look at Kenzo Craigie go through in P10. David Walter, quick this morning. In fact, he's been quick all season for the Maffei Racing Team with 3 podiums, but a DNF this morning. If he does not put in the drive of his life, he will not line up on the grid in the final 36 tomorrow afternoon. He's down in position 30. He needs to put in an almighty drive when we do go back green. And when we do, it will be Noah from David and Ed in third. Kilian with the race lead. Cosman Christopher, Robinson, Bondarev. This is better from Bondi. Head of Ludovico Busso. As you look at Rafaela Ferreira with the best presented car here go through. So Busso is in P5 from Alpac Soy, the first rookie, 6th outright. And still potentially the championship leader at the end of this race. Ian Kraling in P7, Nielsen. There's Nud going through in the magnificently presented real racing car. He's in P8, he's the Dane from Florentine Hattemau. Craigie, Bernaldi, Tognolo, Kingsley Zheng, Costoya, and Emma Felbermeyer. One of 6 drivers racing for the Women's Trophy, one of 3 joining us. That was Emma going through the bottom right of your screen, joining us from the F1 Academy Series, along with that driver right there, Rafaela Ferreira. It is a piece of art. Car 38. And of course, the Californian Peyton Westcott, also joining us from the F1 Academy Series. So Costoya in 14th place, Emma Felbermeyer, she's in 15. The final points paying position, head of Bader Al-Sulati, Kuklane, Martinez, for PHM Racing. Andy Consani back into P19 after stalling off the line and with the fastest lap of the race, 1:53.509 for the Frenchman, who's now in P19, Simon Reckenmacher. In P20, who we've seen race with us for the past few seasons in WSK World Karting, Emily Cotti, Evan Michelini, Chartier, Ferreira, George Proudfoot Nelda, Genda, Diaz, Roman Kamiab, RK in P28, Diaz, Walter, Forgarza has rejoined, and we have lost Pedro Lima and Levian. So waiting for word from race control, possibly going back green at the end of this lap. The field going down through turn 1. Yes, there is confirmation. Our race director, Mr. Dino Lodala, deputy race director, Miss Susana Coletta, in race control. The safety car lights will go out as they go down the back straight at the end of this lap. Confirmation at the bottom left of your screen. We will race once again green here at the Temple of Speed. Simon Reckenmacher has just made a quick pit stop as well and rejoined, which gives Walter and Focazza just one position. But they're down in positions 29 and 30. Simon, the German, does rejoin, but down in 31st place. Safety car in at the end of this lap. Noah Killian, second race today for the young Australian, fastest in his group of qualifying yesterday with a 152.236. Robinson, Ed, with a 52.08, his second consecutive pole position. Mr. Ed in third from Bondarev and Bulsol, Al Baksoy, the field go through Lesmo 2. This is Kostoya, head of Emma Felbermeyer. Looking for a good result. Here's Emma for PHM Racing in car 60. Just behind, that's the Qatari, Bader Al Salati, under the old banking into the Ascari chicane. Noah from David and Ed in third. There's Bondarev, also needs a good result here this afternoon. Remember, 49 drivers, just the final 36 make it onto the grid for the fourth and final race tomorrow afternoon. We saw a similar tactic this morning from Noah's teammate Lucas Samalisto, backing the field up at so slow, I will say walking pace. Well, running pace. Well, maybe if you Usain Bolt, but they're only doing about 30 kilometres an hour. The race leader, Noah Killian, dictates the pace. They cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line. The green flag is flying now. It is green on the start-finish line. Noah in P1, we wait, does not want to give the toe to David Kosman Christopher right behind. The racing Romanian. Now Noah accelerates. The green flag flies. We race. We sprint to the checkered flag here at the Temple of Speed. Out of the parabolic, a perfect restart from Noah Killian. The old banking in the background, the Sydney sider from the racing Romanian. Robinson in P3 back from Bondarev and Bulso and Al Baksoy down into turn one. Noah Killian trying to break the slipstream. He's done it. Nice restart. Turns in. That was critical. Nicely driven by Noah. Holds P1. Kostoya on the inside, fighting with Kingsley Zheng, Toniolo and Bernoldi, who's having a good run here this afternoon, is Becko. We wait for Andy Consani as the Alpha 54 drivers make their way through. David Walter immediately goes by and takes the first of the Diats drivers for Alpha 54. Walter now up into P28, down into the Rocher chicane. The gap 0.6 of a second. Noah from David down into the Lesmo 1 on lap 9, race 2, round 3, the Italian F4 Championship for 2026, presented by the Automobile Club of Italy together with WSK Promotion. Killian, Kosman Christopher, Bondarev up into P3. Into the Ascari chicane. Noah Killian still defending. Further back in the pack, Emma Felbermeyer, she has lost out off the start. She's lost the place to Bader Al Salati and Kingsley Zheng. She's just made that one back. There is Emma. She retakes the position, now back into P15, head of Kingsley Zheng. Noah goes from right to left, down into the Michele Alboreto Parabolica, the final corner. David Kosman Christopher, he'll get the slipstream here. Absolute minimum rear wing, top speed 247 kilometres an hour in qualifying yesterday. Kosman Christopher goes with Bondarev, Robinson, Aksoy. It's like watching the Indianapolis 500 here as they try and break the toe. Bondarev goes by Robinson, now in P3, closes in the back, on the back of his teammate. That's better from Bondi. And now Nud Nielsen splits the Trident drivers. Bernoldi ahead in P9, Hattemer back to P11. Nud Nielsen for Real Racing in P10. into the Roja chicane, still defensive from Noah. Potential first victory in the Italian F4 Championship. And going straight ahead was Kenzo Craigie through the Roja chicane. Lesmo 1 and 2 the gap, 0.5 of a second. Perfectly driven from Noah. David in second. This is better from Bondi, the Williams F1 Academy junior driver in P3. Race winner at this circuit last year in this championship, but a tough start to 2026. He's now in P3, having taken Robinson. There's Alp. Aksoy from Istanbul in Turkey, having to defend from Il Siciliano, Ludovico Busso. Again, weaving down the back straight. Well, the track length is 5.793 kilometres here at the Temple of Speed. And Noah Killian trying to break the toe. It is working for the moment. He's probably added a good 150 metres to the entire lap length as he weaves to try and break the slipstream from David Cosman Christopher, who's quick in a straight line. Goes to his left, to your right, does likewise. David Cosman Christopher, Bondarev behind. There's Robinson, Aksoy, Bulsol, Ian Kraling, Craigie, Bernoldi, better drive from the Brazilian Becko, and Nud Nielsen for Real Racing in P10. Robinson going straight ahead through the chicane. Will have to see the position. The problem is, here comes Alp. He's on the inside. Almost takes Bondarev as well into the Roja chicane. Alp Aksoy, a contender, not only for the rookie title, but the outright championship. Goes on through. What a move! Superb from Alp Aksoy. A brilliant pass. Aksoy goes through and takes the pole into Robinson, who now comes under attack from his Sicilian US Racing teammate Ludovico Busso. It is going wrong for the British Spaniard after starting from grid 1. He's not even on the podium. They go down through Saraglio, under the old banking, down into the Ascari curves. Noah Killian defending for his life. Cosman Christopher, David in second. Bondarev, Aksoy, Busso, Robinson, Kraling, Craigie, Bernoldi. This is Nielsen going through. He'll get the slipstream from the second generation racer. Bernardo Bernoldi, son of former Arrows Formula One Grand Prix driver Enrique, who never did get enough credit for that incredible move at Sepang in Malaysia about 2 decades ago in the Arrows on the outside of the great Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari. That was the move of that season. This is his boy, who's driving brilliantly well inside the top 10, trying to shake Nud Nielsen for the Real Racing team. But the Dane has gone on by. Bernoldi back to 10. Nielsen in P9. Noah down into turn 1. There will be 2 laps remaining. The top left of your screen. We just click over 25 minutes now. It's the Australian from the Romanian, the Ukrainian in third, Killian from Cosman Christopher, and Alexander Bondarev. Further back in the pack, I can tell you that David Walter has climbed his way up into position 21 behind Jacopo Martinez and the recovering Andy Consani. Bondarev on the inside. The 2 Prema Racing teammates wheel to wheel through the Roja chicane with Alp Aksoy. Busso and Robinson come back into it as well. Bondarev on the outside. Bondarev's off the road. Alexander Bondarev into the gravel for the second time today. The Ukrainian goes grass tracking. A disaster for the Williams F1 Academy junior driver. Gets back on track just ahead of Emma Felbermeyer. What a disaster for Bondi. He was fighting for the victory, at least a podium. That will not happen this afternoon. We'll get the last lap board in just a moment. Alexander Bondarev is barely going to pick up a point here today. Bondarev will cross the line in position 18. Last lap for Noah Killian. The gap out to 0.6 of a second. Craigie on the back of Kraling. The Brit and the German, they go wheel to wheel coming out of the Parabolica. Noah Killian, there is the last lap board being displayed. Again, left to right, shaking the slipstream as they go down the straight at 247 kilometres an hour here at the home of the Italian Grand Prix. At the Temple of Speed, Noah Killian, a lap away from taking victory, following in the footsteps of his countrymen, James Wharton, Gianmarco Pradel, Jack Beaton, all former winners in the Italian F4 Championship. And Noah Killian is about to join them, surely, seemingly, as a race winner here this afternoon. This a moment to go sideways into the Lesmo, into the gravel, into the grass. Alexander Bondarev is in position 16 as he gets back on track. A wild ride through the grass, through the gravel. May pick up the point if he gets by Alexander Chartier on this, the final lap. Noah Killian, David Cosmo, Christopher Bourseau is in P3. Well, he was, but Alpac Soy has retaken the place. Down into this Ascari chicane for the final time. This is superb. The young rookie who took pole position in his group 24 hours ago is on his way to victory. This just a moment ago, down into the Rocha chicane. Aksoy around the outside, fighting with Bourseau. Well, Australia, unfortunately, may have lost 2-0 to the United States of America in the FIFA World Cup in Seattle last night. But out of the final corner, the driver from Sydney, Australia, we can hear you cheering from 20,000 k's away. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Noah Killian takes victory at the home of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. Killian wins in the Italian F4 Championship. Cosmo Christopher second, Alpac Soy P3, and surely has just retaken the lead of the championship. Leads home the Sicilian Ludovico Bourseau. Robinson, Craigie, Krayling, Knut Nielsen, Bernaldi, and Christian Costoya. He's done it. He qualified fastest in his group yesterday with a 1:52.236. He withstood the pressure. It was immense from the Romanian. Here in the sunshine in the north of Italy, Noah from Sydney has taken victory in the Italian F4 Championship for the first time for the US Racing Team. Cosmo Christopher second, and his Prema Racing teammate Alpac Soy home in third place. Andy Consani, incidentally, after stalling off the line, finishes in 22nd position, some consolation, fastest lap of the race. David Walter down in 19th place after making a pit stop. Alexander Bondarev, well, position 16. It will be tight, even if the Williams Jr., the Ukrainian, makes it through at all to the final tomorrow afternoon. Killian takes the victory from David Cosmo Christopher, the Romanian. And Alpac Soy home in third place with the rookie victory as well. Bourseau, great drive, bravissimo, il Siciliano. Robinson from pole to P5, Kenzo, head of Ian Krayling. Knut Nielsen for Real Racing Team, Bernaldi and Costoya P10. Florentine ahead of Augustus Toniolo. Good drive again for the Qatari Forginsa Motorsport, Bader Al Salati, Kingsley Zhang, and Alexander Chartier back after injury. Home in the final points-paying position. Bondarev, Kuklane, Emma Felbermeyer, who wins the women's trophy. Walter, Martinez, Kamyab, Consani, George, Proudford, Nalda, Forcazza, Ferreira, Reckenmacher, Cotti, Diaz, Michelini, Ignazio Diaz, again to the final finisher after we lost Levian and Pedro Lima. So Luca Samalisto does still hold the championship lead by just 2 points over Alpac Soy. We'll see Luca, who watched this race, I can tell you, from just in front of us here in the grandstand. He'll be back on track. Of course, it is A versus B here this afternoon. Race 3 tomorrow morning. Lucas Samalisto, the championship leader, on 168 points over Alpac Soy on 166. DCC in P3, Cosman Christopher, 147. From Robinson, Savinkov, Barnsell, Walter is still 7th in the series. Ian Kraling, Busso, and Alexander Bondarev, 10th in the series on 72 points. Noah from Sydney, Australia, takes victory here at the home of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix for the German US racing team. Kilian wins here at Monza.
Did it, didn't you? Well done, mate. Really, really good. That was brilliant. That's absolutely mega.
There is the race winner for US Racing, Mr. Luigi Palumbo of WSK Promotion, assisting down there in Parc Fermé. Noah will stand on the top step of the podium here at Monza. Let's go down and hear from the race winner, Noah Kilian. He's speaking with Laura.
So congrats, a well-deserved victory after a clear race and a very domain of the race.
Yeah, it was probably one of the most uneventful races of my career, but also the most stressful because I had Cosmo behind me the whole time and I was every lap weaving to break the slipstream, and I think it paid off. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Ed Robinson from pole position led the field down into turn 1 as Andy Consani stalled on the second row off the grid. Was fortunate to be avoided by the rest of the pack. It was a relatively clean start with the exception of this. Roman Kamyab was turned around and would never really recover, ultimately finishing down in 21st place. Kilian down the inside of his teammate Ed Robinson. David Cosman Christopher, the racing Romanian, taking the fight to the US racing duo, and he was soon joined by his teammates Alexander Bondarev and the young Turk Alpac Soy. Pedro Lima into the wall, a big hit down into turn 1. This brought out the safety car. Fortunately, the Brazilian was okay. His day was done. Perfect restart from Noah Kilian, shaking David Cosmo Christopher, breaking the slipstream. Bondarev into the gravel, into the grass, fighting for the victory, at least a podium, ultimately finishing down in 16th place. The Sydney sider takes victory here at the Temple of Speed. Noah Kilian wins race 2. Round 3 of the Italian F4 Championship here at Monza. A sweltering Saturday afternoon. Don't forget, we are back tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. with race 3 and then the final 36 out of the original 49 drivers to race 4 tomorrow at 2 o'clock local time, the home of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. This is l'Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, home of the Italian Grand Prix, the circuit built in the parkland north of Milan back in 1922. There's Kenzo Craigie, finishes 6th outright and 2nd on the rookie podium. David, 2nd victory of the day for US Racing as well after Lucas Samalisto won this morning. Says Alp.
Partiamo dunque col primo podio di gara 2 del campionato italiano Formula 4 dalla classifica assoluta. Chiamiamo il terzo classificato, Hasan Alp Aksoy.
Mr. Antonio Caruccio, on behalf of l'Autodromo di Monza, introduces the drivers to the podium. Third place, Alp Aksoy for the Prema Racing team from Istanbul in Turkey. Takes the rookie win as well. Second for the Racing Romanian from Bucharest. Also for Prema Racing, David Cosmo Christopher. From the land down under for the German US Racing team, it's the Australian Noah Killian who takes victory here at the Temple of Speed this afternoon.
Partiamo dal terzo posto di Hasan Alp Aksoy. Premia il terzo posto.
With third place, Alp Aksoy just 2 points off the championship lead. The third of 7 rounds of the 2026 Italian F4 Championship. The national anthem of Australia.
Dunque per le foto di rito. Now guys, please stand for the pictures. Have a look to the photographers.
Second victory of the day for US Racing. Race 3 tomorrow morning at 9:30 local time, and race 4 this afternoon, part of this ACI Racing weekend, which also includes the Italian GT Championship, the Formula Regional European Championship, and the TCR Italian Series. Thanks for watching here at the Temple of Speed. We'll see you for race 3, 9:30 local time here at Monza tomorrow morning.